Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the PKT Community Roundtable, also known as Packet Live. It's Wednesday, December 10th at 10:03 a.m. in Pacific Standard Time. We got Josh Berger, Jesse Berger, Caleb, James Delisle. My name is Jeremy Berger, and we are excited to be here with you guys today. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Sunny day in LA, so that's it's always nice.
Yeah, sunny day here in Northern California as well. Caleb, is it sunny day there in Paris, or is it nighttime?
It's nighttime, but we did get some sun today, believe it or not.
Hallelujah.
Sun in December? Never heard of it.
In France, that is pretty rare.
Yeah, well, ETH popping off right now, which is also good for Packet. So can't complain about those things.
Yeah, for sure. I saw some announcement about ETH, so it's nice to see it creeping up and trying to break through the daily EMA. Man, if it gets over, what is this, right around 3,400, this thing's gonna lift off. We could see some serious movement back up towards like 38, 3,900. So yeah, ETH is looking good. You know, there was obviously heavy shakeout of the markets over the last month. It's been nasty. After reaching all-time high, Bitcoin hits all-time high October 6th, and in a dark place for the last 2 months. But reality, it never really got that bad. You know, it really didn't hang out in the 80s for very long. Well, Bitcoin hasn't, substantially boosted up. ETH is kind of leading the charge a little bit today.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And if you look at the ETH BTC pair, it's freaking ripping, significantly ripping. Let's see, we're up since December 1st.
Why don't you share your screen?
The ETH BTC pair is up almost 14% in the last week and a half. So,
all right,
I'll take it.
Looking good.
Little
market report.
But I mean, all the signals are showing a bear market. So is it just kind of a institutional pump to, trick people into thinking that the markets are moving in a upward momentum, or is it just actual, signs that things are going in the right direction?
It's a good look. Open up a short is what it means.
Yeah, I forget what Carl the Moon said. He's like, if you see green, open up a short. Yeah, look, I think it's hard to trust these markets right now. I don't think there's a lot to be excited about. I think that this current market activity is probably tied to what's going on with the Fed, the FOMC announcement, which I think is today, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, it's usually on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I have a feeling, let's see, FOMC meeting. I want to say it's today.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be today at in an hour. So I think there's optimism around the rate, there being a rate cut. They're even talking about it being a 50 basis rate cut, which would be pretty substantial. So, that would be good for general markets. And I think always good for crypto. And we're starting to see a little bit of the quantitative easing begin, with regards to the US government pumping money into the market. So people like that idea. But generally speaking, there's not a lot of free flowing cash in the markets right now. And so I think if we're talking about Americans are struggling more than ever. The economy is absolutely god awful for the average American. So, and that's just generally bad for anybody trying to buy crypto, you know, and I mean just like average normies trying to buy crypto, but institutions are probably still sweeping up the cheap prices. That would be smart.
Yeah.
Somebody just commented on a post that I put on GitHub like a year ago, and they said, for more information about this, go to this wiki. It's my wiki.
Which one? Which wiki?
Econetlinux.pkt.wiki.
Yeah, but what does it have? What is it? What wiki is it? What does it have on it?
It's about the Econet processor, but
Oh,
it was just funny because they commented on the post on GitHub
oh,
and
that's
linked
cool.
to the wiki. That's also mine.
That's cool. That's cool.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's always nice to see that, you know, being used as a source of truth. Yeah, I'd love to see that more and more play out. So many good opportunities with that in particular. But that's a cool little update there for sure.
today I just reviewed a pull request. Somebody's adding support for another device. Something like somebody I don't even know, and it's super cool. Like a lot of activity. I also have 2 pull requests on CGDNS. I also released CGDNS today, but that was a small release. And I did this year's release, end of year release, a few days ago. Just released whatever has been done up until now. Anyway, but I did another release today just to fix support for 32-bit machines that wasn't not working. That's a bit embarrassing. So fixed, and incoming 2 new pull requests to review, and so gonna get those taken care of, and yeah, a lot of activity on the tech side, surprisingly.
That's cool. Have you taken a look at anything on the VPN side recently, or anything relating to CGDNS on the VPN side?
Let's see. Not really, but if I'm working on the code, I guess that's kind of the first step, working
Sure.
on CGDNS. Yeah, that we have to do that. We have to. It's very complicated. It's complex.
Yeah.
I've talked through it a few times before, but you have to tell the VPN server who the client is going to connect to them and what IP address you should give them. And then for that to make sense, you have to take the IP addresses you have available and kind of make a resource that you can kind of like sell using the smart contract. And then like bandwidth leases, that has to be kind of a resource that you kind of sell, right?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of questions, what are you selling? What's a bandwidth lease? I think the answer to that is you have a certain number that's guaranteed. Like if all hell breaks loose, you're guaranteed at least this much bandwidth. And then you have a peak number of just how far it can go if nobody else needs any bandwidth, right? If you have it all to yourself, we'll give you as much as you need. So you have 2 numbers. One's the guarantee.
Yeah, I like that.
And so that's what defines a bandwidth lease. That needs to be formalized into kind of QoS code, which CGDNS doesn't have any QoS code in it. And I'm not 100% sure if I want to put it in it because QoS is already really well done in Linux. So it might make more sense to do that part in Linux, in Linux kernel. And maybe we move some of the CGDNS stuff into the Linux kernel. So it's all in kernel space. It's kind of, it's challenging to know exactly how that should be done. And by the way, the other thing I'm working on is making is developing an Ethernet driver for the EchoNet, and the Ethernet on the EchoNet device that is that's like super loaded with QoS. Like it does really, really good QoS. So I'm looking at all these features of this Ethernet driver, and we're like, this is bandwidth leases, you know? Like an Ethernet driver is all it has 256 unique channels, and then you prioritize traffic between those channels, and then you have to kind of guess how much bandwidth you're going to be able to offer or promise to each channel, but you're able to break things up into 256 different channels. So what you want to do is first now 256 it seems like a lot, but it doesn't mean you have 256 users. The problem is one user, so say you're live stream, but you're also downloading something. You don't want the download and the live stream to go in the same QoS channel, right? Because otherwise the live stream is going to skip while you're downloading. So you want the download in a background channel, and then you want the live stream to be prioritized. So you as one user end up using more than one channel. So it's a little more complicated than just 256 channels, 256 users, but that's kind of the concept. And then the EchoNet's really interesting because it's one of maybe 2 or 3 devices that is able to forward traffic entirely in hardware. So like it has this really, really advanced feature for what it is. It's a fiber modem, and it has a feature that typically you only see in really high-end Ethernet cards, where it can receive a packet, into one of the ports, and then it can do all the forwarding decisions in hardware and route it out the other port. And so that's really impressive stuff. I feel like I'm just kind of like getting what's the word? Ideas, inspiration for where CGDNS can go from working on actual driver for actual hardware. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like you take the EchoNet, you take the Linux kernel development, you could take CGDNS, and then Packet, and all of these things kind of head in the same direction, and you just kind of have to guide them so that all of your hobbies end up coming together as a product. Yeah. I think it's kind of the goal.
Yeah. And then combine that with, the various different types of use cases. Like if you can, actually service folks that are using it for certain purposes, and that becomes more integral to, I guess just the utility of it. So you're building specifically for certain use cases rather than just building it, hoping people figure out what to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, VPN's a great, of like VPN and reverse VPN is a use case all day, because there's a lot of people out there who have the ability to host websites and stuff at home, and they even know how to do it. And what they're doing is they're setting up a WireGuard VPN to some VPS somewhere. And that's a big pain in the butt for them to do. And we can make that so it's just point and click. Like I need an IP address, I need a proxy into this network with CGDNS, start up CGDNS, and everything connects, and they get an IP address assigned to them, and it's all just working. So that is that's where we want to be, Yeah. And I think that's really not that difficult. And then maybe hosting websites on these sub $20 EchoNet devices, like why not?
Yeah,
you can kind of have it all.
Yeah. It seems like there was just a lot of, there's certain people that are doing hardware. There's no question. I think it's impressive what Packet did, getting so many people to set up nodes, and it shows that the economic incentive is enough to get people to take action, and do even things that are outside of their specific wheelhouse or knowledge or experience, if there's going to be remuneration behind it. But I think the other side of it is that, there needs to be a trajectory as well. People, they'll do it in the background, and if it's just a passive thing that can, they'll set it up and leave it, let it run. But I feel like having there be other elements, whether it's your own job that you're, utilizing these tools for, or a personal use case, which is why I've been so interested in VPN, because I use VPN all the time. Every day I use VPN. And I wish that we had been able to use, I wish that over this time we had ultimately created Anode VPN that could work on iOS, so that I could be using the Packet VPN this whole time, but we never got there. And then in terms of the use cases for, the Packet network, I think that's where we've obviously been very intrigued, outside of Packet DNS, intrigued with this kind of streaming network approach and some of the use cases that I think will be applicable as this thing begins to stand up. So that's still, on the horizon. And when there's more marketing and communication and money that can be put into servicing and maintaining the project and the various different tools, like, we can actually have more releases and have more people using those tools. So yeah, it's kind of been, on cruise control for the last year while we've been making this transition to this next phase. And it's not, it just feels like we keep kicking the can in that regard. But that still gets me excited, and it's cool that you've still been doing what you're doing, and obviously making some, small wins here and there with your hardware, project.
And that the community has been, running this network for going on 7 years, so like there's people that have been in this community for a long time, contributing and participating and keeping this alive. And even during this lull, we've experienced this bull run. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that there's just the people have continued to rally, continue to run nodes, continue to support them, and believing in the trajectory and the full scope of this project.
Yeah, for sure. I think it also, I mean, obviously be great to see some activity. I was just thinking about it the other day, just kind of, where do altcoins go right now? I mean, even with, you see these bigger projects just losing a lot of momentum. I saw an announcement, something about Cardano, that like just absolutely nobody's using Cardano at all. Like the actual use case of the network. And or actually, it was a funny announcement. It said that the network was down.
It's the blockchain went down, but nobody noticed because nobody was using the blockchain.
Yeah. It said the blockchain went down for like over 24 hours or something like that, like a significant amount of time, and nobody even noticed or like mentioned it, because just nobody's using it, which is pretty wild. I mean, obviously somebody would have known that it was down, like from a more administrative standpoint, but I guess like the, world of X didn't, light on fire with that.
I mean, except Solana went down like every single weekend for like 2 years before it got to where it is. So
right, but people were talking about it. People were like, "Holy shit!"
For sure, yeah.
And the fact that Cardano, which is definitely one of the top 20 cryptocurrencies, so it's like, where do these major projects, and it's one of the more elegant projects out there, obviously one of the oldest projects out there. They've done unbelievable amounts of research and had these huge events with the various different evolutions of the project. But it's like, and it's worth billions, and it's like, but where do you go from here? What's the next phase? And I think the issue is that there's just not much outside of like the tech world and technologists that are building things, and then smaller projects that are utilizing the blockchain for various different things. There's just not a lot of relationship between the general public and these big projects, and I think that's just continuously a gap that, life happens, right? So it's like you could buy Bitcoin 15 years ago, and then just life happens, and whatever happened was that Bitcoin is disconnected from your life, and you can come back to it. There could be other moments of excitement, but in general, your life doesn't revolve around what Bitcoin's doing. And I think a lot of these crypto projects, they obviously have these cyclical moments where things can be more relevant and less relevant. I think we're clearly in one of those periods where crypto is less relevant, and we could call it a bear market, but it's almost like less a bear market on price and more a bear market on just like relevance and just what people are thinking about today, and we've kind of complained about it a bit for sure, but it's unfortunate that the exchanges that manage the crypto markets have been so predatory against the retail market, and the market manipulation, which I get is clearly the way that these exchanges stay active, which is, liquidating the gamblers in the market. But the viciousness of those liquidations, it's like the virtual criminality of it, the market manipulation, the synchronized dumping across market makers and exchanges to, move the price and stop loss, traders over and over again every day, sometimes day after day after day after day. It's just like sweeping so much money on the market is basically chased off the retail. And that retail was really what gave a lot of credence to the alt market, and so I think it's going to be hard to reactivate. I don't know what will be a catalyst to reactivate the alt market in general, but I think the alt market is going to struggle for the foreseeable future. I think
that's how these bear markets go. It's just like you have these moments where the markets get just wiped out, and then retail is gone for 2 years. And then there's some price action around Bitcoin and after the halving, and just like, everyone's saying like, oh no, this is different. We got the ETFs, we got this, we got that. It's like, the truth of the matter is the people that are able to manipulate this market, it is a small market. This isn't the gold market. This isn't the, these other commodities markets. Like, this is crypto is a small market. If you have a large bag, which people do, especially Binance has got a big bag. They can go in and they can swing this market. It's not too hard, especially on the altcoins. Like Bitcoin, sure, you can go like 5%, maybe 10%, maybe but if Bitcoin takes a 10% swing, those altcoins are taking a 50% swing, and you're just getting absolutely rocked. And the more times that happens, the bigger their treasury is of these different altcoins and can manipulate. So it does take a reset, which we're kind of in the process of experiencing, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. We'll probably see some pops, probably see like the Christmas pump, and people will get all excited, and then you'll just get absolutely smacked down. There's greater market problems that the world is foreseeing. Them cutting rates isn't because there's no inflation and the economy is strong. It's like they're cutting rates to mitigate the current state of the U.S. markets right now and the world markets. I mean, people aren't recovered from COVID, and you're looking at Japan. They're having major issues with their economy. So the general sentiment of the world is not positive, and so people aren't like, let me go throw 10 grand at a meme coin right now. They're just trying to figure out, how to pay their rent right now. So I think we'll turn a corner at some point. There will be, whether it's some stimulus where Trump's trying to get reelected for his third term, and wants to go and just like write people checks and pretend that it's from tariff money and not from your own money that you're giving back to you. I actually just got a package. I bought a Black Friday thing. I spent $200 on like $400 worth of clothes. Really excited about it. Got like their 50% off deal. I receive it, and UPS is like, you have to pay $175 to receive this. I was like, I only paid $200. You're telling me I got to pay $175 on top of the, like, just for tariffs? Like, are you fucking kidding me? So I sent it back. I was just like, all right, fuck you. I guess we don't buy things out of the country anymore. Guess Trump wins that battle. But yeah, I mean, people are just paying these tariffs. Americans are paying these tariffs, and that's just what's going on. We can pretend that it's not, but like that's the current state of the world. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna pay me $1,000 stimulus check out of tariffs, that's my money that I'm paying. You're just giving me back because I had to pay for tariffs for all this shit.
Yeah, and I just saw a video where things are going to get worse. We haven't even really seen the real ramifications of the tariffs, especially in the grocery store. We've seen a little bit, but like everything is going to go up next year even more, because think about it, Trump only really became, I mean, this is his first year in office, and the tariffs are just now. I mean, Josh, this is the first time you've even seen a thing where
I've seen other stuff. I mean,
but you've never had UPS knock on your door to collect money. I mean, I was at your house when that happened, and I was just like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" That you have.
It's also going to get worse. It's going to get worse because it also takes time for things to ship overseas, and so when these big freights are coming, it takes a month to move these massive freights from China to here. And
what the reality is, what's happening is that it hasn't filtered in fully. So a lot of people have been working off of inventory that they acquired in 2024, sold it off in 2025, order the next batch. We've received a couple pallets from we paid tariffs on the minis. We brought the minis over. Yeah. We had manufactured the minis in, was it Taiwan? I forget where we did it, but anyways, it was out of the country. What? China?
Yeah, Taiwan.
Yeah, it was Taiwan. And we were shipping them from there. And then we decided to bring them all to the US. This is product we already manufactured a couple years ago. And they shipped the pallets to the US, to the East Coast, to our pack and ship facility. And we got hit with, I forget if it was $500 or $1,000 fee just for bringing our own product that we already own back, that we had manufactured before tariffs were even assessed. And actually we got lucky because those tariffs that we got assessed were before the actual tariffs. We shipped them right before the big tariffs went up. Fucking liberation. I don't know what we were being liberated from. I guess we were being liberated from no tariffs to it's like reverse psychology. You're now liberated to start paying tariffs. And we had to pay a hefty fee. It was totally bullshit because we had already paid the shipping fee, which was a lot. It was like $4,000. And then we got hit with another fee. I think it was like a G or $800 just for bringing the product over because of tariffs that were being assessed on products that we already owned.
Yeah.
Now, if you were manufacturing those products now and shipping them into the US, those tariffs would be way more. It could be as much as 50 to 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, true. And so anyways, the point of the matter is it's going to take a event like that. The other thing is, like, when we got our stimulus checks, people weren't broke like they are now. Like, the market was at the all-time high, and like people were still feeling flush. And then and then COVID happened. They shut everything down, but people weren't broke yet.
Right.
From that, like they had money, and then you gave them $1,200. They're like, I don't really need this $1,200. Fuck it, I'll just throw it at Bitcoin. And so, but this is a different situation that even if you gave somebody $2,000, people need that $2,000 to pay for food and pay for like stuff. So
yeah, that's true. Same thing with health insurance too, is another big one. So you have a lot of, a lot of big issues. What's that?
Yeah, fire insurance I was gonna say fire insurance as well, especially here in Northern California. I was just talking to my son's teacher, and the fire insurance in her area, it's not even in like a crazy wooded area or anything like that. She said their fire insurance has absolutely skyrocketed,
Hmm.
and now what well, I don't know if it's now, but a lot of places like here in Northern California, your homeowner's insurance, you have to have like your roof has to be like new. You know, if it's 20 years old, even if it is a 50-year roof, like you have to have it redone, which is kind of
Wow.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So it's like you go buy a 50-year roof, but then 20 years they say, oh, by the way, this needs to be you
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah.
The 50-year roof is they only want to see it for 20 years, or your insurance goes up.
Your insurance goes up.
Right.
So they're like, oh,
Yeah.
redo the roof or pay premium.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so nasty, man.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, there's just a lot of, I mean, this are all American issues. I'm sure there's a lot of uh, individual countries that have similar mandates.
Have you been
and
seeing
issues.
some shit out in France, Caleb?
That's new, or is it mostly more of the same?
We don't have like insane costs here like you guys do.
Yeah.
What costs a lot of money is payroll taxes. Those are ridiculous because you get retirement and all these things that you have to pay to the state. That's just about half the salary. Yes, but as far as stuff like insurance, it's never that much. It's France kind of is locked in the 90s in that sense that they didn't really all that crazy stuff where prices just went parabolic on a lot of different stuff, healthcare, insurance, that type of stuff just didn't hit here. And I mean, healthcare, yeah, of course it's socialized, but you can also pay for it yourself. And if you do pay for it yourself, I mean, like I had dental work done on my tooth. I have a new tooth now. Yay! It's not crooked anymore. That netted me about, I think, 800 euros total to do the crown. So it gives you an idea of what these things are like. And in the U.S., I hear these horror stories about 10K, 20K for something medical. So no, it's
you're right.
Generally the French managed to keep a lid on things.
Yeah.
Also, I was laughing about the tariffs because meeting having the mailman ask you for money, that's something that happens here. It's always happened here.
Right, I
It's
remember
not
that.
like the same value as the product. Typically, that doesn't happen. But asking you for some money because you ordered something from kind of like a no-name company. It used to be if you ordered something from the U.S., they would ask you for money. Now that's been changed. That was Trump changed that, so you can buy stuff from the U.S. with no tax in France. But if you're buying something from China and it's not like through a big platform like AliExpress, then yeah, they're going to ship it in a way that you have to pay when it arrives.
Yeah. Look, it's not good, and we're just being gaslit here in America. You know, we have Trump telling us every day that the economy's fantastic. So, I mean, economy's probably great in the White House. I'm sure the economy's great. I mean, he's doubled his net worth, made billions. I mean, he doesn't have to go to the market, so I'm sure he's doing just great. Just gave his son a $620 million government loan. So that's great. You know, insider trading, you know, whipsawing the market while his son sets up a short position before he sends out a tweet. I mean, things are going great in the White House, but the rest of the world's in bad shape. So it's just it's going to be a long 3 years over stateside. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of cycles we get in crypto specifically as a result of that. I do say, with all the kind of negative things, the positive side is that we really seem to have some downside protection on crypto. We haven't seen crypto break below that $75,000 floor. It looked like it was going to go there, a week and a half ago, and it didn't. And I think that's reassuring. I think it's still possible for us to see, something really bad happen that pushes Bitcoin down into the 60s, somewhere between mid 60s to high 60s. Like, you could see a wick going down to the previous range high. That could happen. But this last one, where it was like real bearish sentiment, I think I saw the fear and greed index was like a 4 or 8. It was like really low, like about as low as you could see it into the fear. And the price didn't even make it down to 75,000. So that's really, and then now we're all the way back up into the low 90s. So it shows there's a lot of support down there in the 80s, and certainly in the 70s. I'd love to pick up some Bitcoins in the 70s. That'd be awesome. And but yeah, I don't know what kind of catalyst we have on the horizon that's going to take us back into the mid 120s. Like, I just think that's a long way off to get back up into those levels. And I just don't see anything on the positive side outside. Well, here's what I would say. Positive outlook is, you got May 2026, where Jerome Powell's tenure will be up at the Fed, and you could see the White House posturing to change out. I mean, he'll be able to reappoint someone. That person who gets reappointed is going to be, is going to take a stance of obliviousness to reality, and very well could lower interest rates really, really low. And in that kind of environment, where money is cheaper, that could certainly have a big impact on the daily American for sure. I mean, car loans, home loans, credit card loans, or credit card debt, interest rates, all that stuff starts to come down. Like, that has a huge direct impact on the average American and frees up cash, and that cash could very well find its way into the crypto market. So those are some, things that could happen on the horizon, half year out from this point, that could be generally positive. And we'll know in the next 20 minutes if they're going to drop interest rates. You could probably see on X, someone has probably already said what they think is going to happen. But if that comes down 50 basis points today, I mean, that will definitely be good. That will definitely have an effect.
I was going to say, unless you're trying to buy a house and they no longer issue 30-year loans and they're only doing 50-year loans, you're going to be paying so much money to buy a house.
Long term, yeah. It takes all the equity out of the house.
Yeah. So I was just looking, I saw this video about why they're doing 50-year loans. And the reason is because 50 years on an interest rate of 8% or even 6 or 7% is like astronomically more compared to a 30-year loan, and people may not understand how that works, but it is scary if you're trying to buy a house in America. It's already, I just saw like a chart of how much you have to make in order to live comfortably, middle class in America and all the different states. And it's like, even in like, I think the lowest amount of money you have to make to live comfortably in America is in like Kentucky or something like that, and it's $170,000.
Yeah. Wow.
And like in California, it's like 240 or something, 230. But in Maine, Maine is in the top 5. I think you have to make like 265,000 a year to live comfortably middle class in Maine.
Wow.
That's Maine. I mean, like, dude, who wants to live out in Maine? It's friggin' in the far northeast, cold as fuck. I mean, in the summer and the spring is beautiful, but man, you're out there right now, it's 2 degrees.
There's a lot of fancy towns in Maine, Rockport, Rockland, those places along the coast. I would venture to say that if you go inland a little bit, like where my cousin lives, it's probably like Kentucky as far as your actual cost of living. But that's where no one wants to live, unless you're like in construction, forestry, that type of stuff. It's not the best place.
I mean, I go out to Maine every month because I do some work out there, or I have been over the last few months, and you'd be surprised at how beautiful it is once you get away from like the coastal cities or coastal towns. I wouldn't say any of them are much of a city. Portland or like Lewiston, those are like the big cities. Once you get inland a little bit, it's so nice. I mean, a lot of people live out there because of how quiet it is, and you're in the country. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine living there, but I can visit there. It's really beautiful. It's northern New England. It's kind of you're Massachusetts. It's right there. You fly into Boston and you drive through Boston, and then boom, you're in New Hampshire, and then boom, you're in Maine. It's like bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of family in Maine. It's
Massachusetts,
really beautiful. I hate shoveling snow.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. Who does love to shovel snow? You got to be
somebody.
Someone's got a cool machine to just deal with it, or a heated driveway,
Yeah, there's some places where there's a place I think in Michigan where they actually heated the roads because somebody put in there's like some local rich guy and put piping under the roads and connected to like the waste energy from a local power plant. And so in that town, the snow doesn't collect on the roads. That's the first thing, like shoveling snow, running snow blower. It all gets old after a while. Yeah. Then the other thing is what's really annoying is you can't have an old car, because you can't have a classic car. Anything if you take it out in the winter, it's going to just get trashed because that salt's going to get under there, and then that car is not going to be any good in 5 years. So if you're fine to just keep buying new cars, great. But if you want to have like an old classic or something, it's not happening.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, lucky none of us are in that situation. It's not going to snow where you are, is it, Caleb? Most likely.
One day we got like a half inch of like half hail, half snow stuff, but generally no, it's not really. I mean, in all the time I've been in France, I think the most snow I've ever seen was about 1.5 inches, and it was melted by the next day. They still use salt some places, and I hate it, and I wash the car immediately. But like places where ice is a real risk. But generally, it's just like a frost and maybe a little snow here and there.
Got it. Well, yeah, we ain't gonna get any snow here in Cali.
So, well, the mountains we will. I mean, just
if you go up in the mountains, sure.
It is. It's bare. It's the most barren winter in California in like recent years. I just saw a video of a guy out in Tahoe. There's no snow.
Wow.
It's literally going up the gondola, and it's all dirt. And Big Bear, no snow. All dirt. I mean, Mammoth, all dirt. I mean, there's no snow. What I did hear is there's a radioactive fog over in the Sierras just sitting in that little canyon. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you want to go out there and read that radioactive.
Yeah. On that positive note, we can end a little bit early today, and everyone can go shop for hazmat suits. And
for sure, and wait for the
nuclear winter
FOMC meeting announcement in the next 15 minutes. So hoping for a 25 basis point to 50 basis point rate cut, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure. I was just reading that Binance has been dumping Bitcoin for the last 4 hours. So they're just dumping into dumping into any type of buying action that's happening. Just predatory behavior as usual. Nothing. Wouldn't expect anything less or more from them.
Gotta close out strong in December. I get it.
Yep. See what they can do. See what they can get some liquidations going today. So
they'll do the Christmas pump and New Year's rug as well. So
yeah,
be ready.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Look, nice to be here with y'all, and we'll do next week, and then the week after is. Actually, we may not be able to. No. We should be able to do next week, and then the week after is actually Christmas. So we'll skip that one and get back on it. Probably the week after. Although that is New Year's Eve. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll let everyone know next week how our schedule wraps out for the year.
Yep.
All right.
Cool, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be here next week, same time, same place. Later, guys.
Cool.